Welcome, everyone. A huge, warm welcome to all our Hindi-speaking learners tuning in today for this explainer. आज के इस path में, we've got an absolutely fantastic and honestly super motivating story to dive into. It's called The Boy Who Hated Failure. Now, it might seem like a simple story on the surface, but I promise you, the lessons it teaches about success and learning English are just profound.
But before we jump right into the story, I actually have a direct question for you. Do you quit when you fail? Seriously, think about it honestly for a second. When life suddenly gets tough, do you just kind of give up? Look, we all face obstacles, for sure, but how we react to them, that's the whole core of today's lesson. So keep that question right in the back of your mind as we go. Section 1, The Boy Who Quit, a story about giving up. So our main character was this young boy who desperately wanted to be successful. And, like a lot of us, he wanted that success fast. But he had this one major flaw. Whenever he tried something new and, failed at it, he'd just stop completely. One day, feeling totally defeated and incredibly frustrated, he went up to an old farmer and complained. "I work hard, but nothing seems to happen. Maybe I'm not talented enough." This is actually a super common conversational phrase in English. It perfectly captures that deep, heavy frustration we all feel when our hard work doesn't immediately pay off. Section 2, The Boiling Water Test, the farmer's strange lesson. Now, instead of just giving the boy a long, boring lecture or offering some generic advice, this wise old farmer decided to do something different. He gave him a practical demonstration. He just smiled and handed the boy 3 very distinct things: a carrot, an egg, and coffee beans. Then he took these 3 totally different items and dropped them into 3 separate pots of boiling hot water. He didn't say a single word. He just let them sit there and boil away in the heat. Section 3, Carrot, Egg, or Coffee. What happens in boiling water? So after some time goes by, the farmer finally turns to the boy and asks him what changed. First, let's look at the carrot. Now, it went into that water feeling super hard, tough, right? Unbending. But after facing that boiling water, the once tough carrot became completely weak and soft. It literally lost all its strength. Next, we have the egg. Now, before boiling, it was fragile, delicate, easily broken, just like a raw egg normally is. But after sitting in that intense boiling heat, the inside of that delicate egg became tough and fully hardened. The heat completely changed its internal nature. But then we get to the coffee beans, and they had a totally unique, incredibly powerful reaction. The coffee beans actually changed the water into coffee. They didn't just sit there and let the boiling water change them. No, they completely transformed the water around them into something completely new and rich. Then the farmer turned to the boy and dropped this amazing quote. "Life puts all of us in boiling water. The question is not what happens to you. The question is what you become because of it." The boiling water here is a metaphor. It represents life's difficulties and challenges. We're all going to face hard times, but it is 100% about our reaction to that heat. At that moment, the boy finally understood the real depth of the lesson. But right at the very end, the farmer revealed a crazy surprise twist. He wasn't just a farmer. He was actually a highly successful businessman who had faced and overcome so many failures himself before he ever achieved true success. Section 4, Key English Words, Vocabulary from the Story. All right, our first key word is quit. It simply means to stop trying or to give up. For our Hindi speakers, you know this as har maan lena. Think back to the very beginning of our story. This is exactly how that young boy acted at first, right? Whenever he faced even a tiny bit of failure, he'd quit. It means losing all your motivation and just walking away from your goals entirely. Next up is fragile. This means delicate and easily broken, or nazuk. Remember the egg before it went into the pot? Highly fragile. Drop it, and it smashes instantly. We use this word to describe physical objects, sure, but we also use it for people's emotions when they're extremely sensitive and need to be handled with care. Then we have bitter. This means being angry or hurt by bad experiences. You can directly relate this one to the egg after it was boiled. It got all hardened on the inside. While sometimes when people face life's really tough difficulties, they become emotionally hardened too. They hold on to their anger and sadly become bitter people. And our final vocabulary word is successful. This just means achieving what you set out to do. This links right back to the businessman's ultimate outcome at the end of our story. You see, true success isn't about having a life with zero failures. No way. It's about pushing through those failures, learning from them, and keeping at it until you hit your goal. Section 5. The moral. Your choice. How will you respond?
To quickly summarize, this story brilliantly shows us 3 very distinct reactions to challenges. Difficulties make some people weak, right? Just like that carrot that lost all its strength. They make other people bitter and hardened, like the egg. Or, and this is the best one, difficulties help some people grow stronger and actually improve the world around them, just like the coffee beans. It is such a beautifully expressive parallel between simple food items and human behavior. Here is the absolute most crucial point. Challenges do not define your future. Your response to challenges does. It isn't the boiling water that dictates your worth or your path in life. It's entirely about how you choose to react when the water gets hot.
And that brings us to our final provocative thought for this explainer. When life gets difficult, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can this teach me? I really want you to remember that specific question the very next time you face a failure. Use it to immediately reframe your mindset. Well, thank you so much for joining me to explore this awesome lesson today. Keep learning, keep growing, and whatever you do, be the coffee bean.